friends, I hope you're doing really well. It's been quite the minute since I last posted a video here on my channel, and I really didn't mean to be absent for so long, so I'm really sorry for just disappearing on you guys. I've actually been filming constantly all these weeks, and this video you're about to watch is one that I filmed, I believe, back on June 14th, but I've just really struggled to sit down and edit for various different reasons. Initially, I was in the middle of handing in a project deadline for a picture book that I'm working on, but even after handing my work in, I realized that when I sat down to edit my videos, I really wasn't enjoying seeing my face on camera and editing past footage of myself. It just felt like the last thing that I wanted to do when we were going through a heat wave, and I suppose you could say that I was feeling a bit self-conscious as well. So I definitely didn't mean to stay away from YouTube for so long, but I finally decided to just sit down, stop overthinking things, and just edit this video for you guys, because I've been really wanting to share with you all everything that I'm planning on reading, watching, and doing this summer. So without further ado, and before summer passes us anymore, I hope you have a refreshing drink with you, and let's get into the video. Very much in the mood for Summerween this year, but it's quite unusual for me. So normally I gravitate towards summer romances, but at the same time I really crave literary fiction, kind of weird girl novels, and also books that are more in the healing fiction genre. So all those cozy, slow, mundane books that are very popular in Korean and Japanese literature. So first up is a book that I don't currently own, but it's The Someday Garden by Ashley Poston. I believe that it's a book that one of you guys actually recommended me in the comments recently, but it's also one that I've had my eyes on as well, and it sounds like the perfect summer book. I think it follows a woman called Sophie who plans to escape to coastal Maine for the summer, where she has a temporary job and she's supposed to help revitalize and restore Lilymore House. However, when she arrives, she finds a secret door that opens to this garden, and there is a man, a gardener, who has been trapped there. So it's supposed to give secret garden vibes. It's a magical garden as well, and so to be fair, it was probably perfect to read in springtime, but probably just as nice to read in summer. Now, a book I do actually own is Kakikori Summer by Emily Itami. I actually picked this one up from Hatchet when I went to London, and yeah, it was really exciting because the book wasn't supposed to be out for a couple more days, so the bookshop had it early. But I came across this book kind of randomly whilst I was traveling last year, and I was just really drawn to it. But at the time it wasn't summer, so in my head I was thinking, as soon as it comes out in paperback and as soon as it's summer, I am definitely going to pick it up. And now that time of year has finally come, and I have my copy of Kakikori Summer. But we follow three different sisters who have taken very different paths in their lives. One works in London whilst the other works in a Tokyo retirement home, and then the third and youngest sister is a Japanese idol. But the three sisters end up retreating together to this remote seaside that they grew up on, and whilst they're there they have to deal with the hardship of losing their mother, as well as build their relationship up again as a unit, as a three. I feel like this is going to be the perfect summer book. It's exactly what I'm in the mood for, and yeah, I can't wait to pick it up. Another kind of like cozy healing fiction book, or definitely is actually, is 불편한 편의점 by Kim Ho-yeon. This is a Korean book that has actually been translated into English, and I think the English title is The Second Chance Convenience Store, which is actually quite different from the Korean, because the Korean is 불편한 편의점, and 불편한 means like uncomfortable, so the uncomfortable convenience store. This copy is actually a friend's, and she let me borrow it, so thank you so much, Yeji. It's just so pretty. I always love the attention to detail in Korean books. Anyways, I think this book is about a convenience shop owner, and he one day decides to take on board a homeless man. This man really has a kind heart, a kind soul, and so through him, his presence helps to transform the whole neighborhood. I knew I wanted to read it in Korean because it's a originally a Korean novel, but Korean books do take me a lot longer to read than if I read the English version. It takes me longer to sort of process and digest the information and the words, and sometimes there are words that I don't know, so it takes me a while to like search it up. But I do really want to exercise my Korean a little bit more, because in my day-to-day life, other than with my family, I really don't speak much Korean. So I am looking forward to picking this one up, and if I finish this one, I have the book, the second book, the sequel, that Yeji also allowed me to borrow. Another book that's kind of giving similar vibes to this one that I really can't wait to get my hands on is called The Early Mornings at the Laksa Cafe, and it's by an author called Janet Tay. Now this one I already know is going to make my mouth water. It's going to make me so hungry. But this book follows Ahok, who is an owner of a very small kitchen, and every morning he wakes up to prepare laksa soup. Now as the family legend goes, this laksa recipe was actually gifted to them by a deity years and years and years ago, and the deity promised that the family would have prosperity so long as this recipe was passed down through generations. However, Ahok is aging, and his only son doesn't really have any desire to carry on the family business. So the book is supposed to be a very comforting and heartwarming story about honoring traditions, but also the family dynamics in that. And it honestly sounds like my perfect kind of book. So yes, that's another one I'm very much looking forward to. And then the other book that's again in the same vein of this cozy, comforting genre is the Tsubaki Stationery Store by Ito Ogawa. Now I've brought it up on my phone here because I really don't know much about this one. I was just very much intrigued by the gorgeous cover and the title. This is originally a Japanese book, and it says it's about a young woman who inherits a stationery store from her late grandmother and becomes a trusted scribe of the town. Set to the rhythm of the four seasons and the Japanese rituals and festivities that come with them, Tsubaki Stationery Store is a charming story about the importance of community and the reconciliatory power of the written word. So another delightful read for me, hopefully when I see it at a bookshop. Now onto the books that are more Summerween-esque. I still can't get over the fact that I am in the mood for Summerween this year. I really tried getting into the spirit last couple of years, and I suppose I just never quite got it. This year is going to be different because I am already in the middle of reading Dracula. I started reading this maybe 3 or 4 days ago as an audiobook, so I've sort of been going back and forth in the audio version as well as the physical book, but I am really loving it, and I think this is what got me into the whole Summerween spirit, because it was gloomy outside and I wanted to listen to an audiobook. So I was going through what I had on Libby that was available to read straight away, and Dracula was an option. And since I haven't actually read this before and it's on my TBR shelf, I thought it would be the perfect time to pick it up. This is my first time reading Dracula, and I had no idea that I don't know if it's for the rest of the book, but for the first couple of chapters, they're written as journal entries, which I love. But at the start of this book, we follow Jonathan Harker, who travels all the way to Transylvania in order to meet Count Dracula, and the purpose of his trip is to help Count Dracula purchase a house in London. But very soon into his travels, he starts realizing that a lot of spooky things are happening, and he begins to get quite horrified with some of the things that he witnesses. So that's sort of where the story begins, but as you can tell, I'm not very far into it, and we sort of switch perspectives already. So far, I found the Transylvania setting incredibly atmospheric, and I actually really recommend listening to it as an audiobook because it just made it really immersive for me. So it's my first horror of the year, I think, but if I haven't finished it before Summerween starts officially, which I think it begins in July, then I would definitely be counting this one as one of my Summerween reads. And another book that I feel like is going to be perfect for Summerween is you know what you did. And this is my proof copy because the publishers really kindly sent me a proof of this book. But the thing that actually really sold me about this book was the dedication at the front, and it says dedicated to mothers, daughters, and the daughters who mother. I thought that was very poetic and very beautiful. But this is supposed to be like a psychological thriller, and it follows a woman called Annie, who is a very successful artist. She basically has everything that you would deem as a very successful life. So she's got a thriving career, she's got a loving husband, but when her mother, who was a Vietnamese war refugee, suddenly dies, Annie's world shatters. And Annie has had a history of really struggling with OCD that has been dormant though for the past couple of years, but with her life suddenly changing, the disorder comes back in full force. And when she wakes up one day in a hotel, naked and next to a dead body with no memories of how she got there, Annie is forced to come face to face with her childhood trauma, as well as the trauma that her mother left behind as well. If you guys have watched my videos for a while, you know that I don't really read thriller novels. If anything, I read slightly more horror, and that's still to a very like minute level. So thrillers are probably one of my least read genres, or like crime fiction. But the fact that our main character is an Asian American woman, and she's an artist, and she's grappling with OCD as well as trauma, it really caught my attention, and I'm really excited to pick it up. So those are some of the books that I am really looking forward to picking up in summer. But I also have made a list of movies that I'm in the mood for this year. I don't know if this is quite like a silly New Year's resolution, but at the start of this year, one of my goals was to try and watch more films. That probably sounds quite silly to a lot of you guys, but for me, the reason why I put it down is because I actually really struggle watching film. I'm not very good at sitting down and just watching something all the way through for like 2 to 2.5 hours. So at the start of this year, I joined Letterboxd, and that's really helped me because now I can record everything that I'm watching. And I feel like for me, I'm the kind of person where when I start recording things and I can see things compiling, I get more and more invested. But in case you guys don't know what Letterboxd is, because I feel like I was quite late to the party as well, it's an app where you can record different shows you want to watch or have watched, and movies as well, just like Goodreads is for reading. But I created a summer movie list, so I thought it would be fun to go through with it and talk to you about the different things I want to watch. Maybe I'll start screen recording this as well so that you guys can see what I'm doing. But the most pressing thing for me that I can see on my summer watch list is Studio Ghibli. Now Ghibli is of course my heart and soul. You guys know that already. But I really equate summer with Studio Ghibli because Hayao Miyazaki set a lot of his movies in a very summer-esque scenery. So I know that I really want to rewatch Kiki's Delivery Service. It's so perfect. There's like coastal scenes. It's set in a coastal village. You get the most gorgeous views of the sea and the coastline, and there's Kiki and Tombo and Gigi, and it's just perfection. If you're in the mood to watch a cute witch on her journey to become a full-fledged witch in a foreign city that happens to be by the sea, then Kiki's Delivery Service is a really sweet one to watch, and it's definitely one I want to rewatch. But I also want to rewatch, where is it? From Up on Poppy Hill. This is one of my favorite Ghibli movies that I feel like doesn't get talked about enough, but it's essentially following a boy and a girl. They are two secondary school, high school students, and the backdrop of this whole movie is set just after World War II in Japan. So there's of course a lot of devastation and a lot of tragedy that's unfolded, and yet at the same time they are about to host the Olympics, and so there's this very like dichotomous nature of excitement but also facing the past and the tragedies that people are living with. It's an absolutely gorgeous movie. Now another Ghibli movie that perhaps comes as a bit of a shock to you guys is Ponyo, and I say a shock because Ponyo is the movie that everybody loves, maybe besides me. I've only watched this once, to be fair, and it just wasn't for me at the time, and I was really upset by this because I know just how beloved it is. So I am determined to try and rewatch it this time and try and love the movie. I also want to rewatch Only Yesterday, which is another Ghibli movie that probably isn't as well known. This one jumps from the past to the current present day, and to be fair, I don't remember much from it, but I do remember some really gorgeous scenes of the Japanese countryside in summer, so I'm looking forward to rewatching this one and refreshing my memory. And another one that I haven't watched before is actually When Marnie Was There. I haven't watched this movie before. I've seen scenes of it and I did try watching maybe the first 20 minutes of it, so hopefully this summer I'll actually get to watch this one because it looks so beautiful. Now, some other films that I haven't watched before, and I'm really in the mood for like Japanese, Korean films set in summer. I think because I used to spend every other year of my summer holidays visiting my family in Korea, I've really come to associate summer with Korea. Specifically, I have very vivid memories of going to the Korean countryside because my grandma from my dad's side, she lived very much in a very rural area of Korea, and it was just so gorgeous and peaceful. So I'm really in the mood for films that kind of evoke that countryside setting in East Asia. And one of the films that I came across as I was researching some movies was After School Soda Weather Special Edition. This follows three friends who are nearing the end of the school term, and it's going to be the summer holiday soon. But the three of them are on a mission to find the best cream soda, and I just think it's going to be so wonderful to see girlhood and friendship and these gorgeous drinks. It's going to make me miss Japan for sure. Another one is called It's a Summer Film. And essentially, this movie is about a group of secondary school friends who are filming and producing their own samurai movie. I saw some clips of this online and it looked so summer, so summer coded, and again that sort of nostalgic youthfulness of still being at school and working on a creative project with friends. I'm really excited about that one. But perhaps one of the movies that I'm most excited for is called Little Forest, and I know that there's the original Japanese versions as well as the Korean adaptation. The Korean version of it, it takes place over 4 different seasons in the Korean countryside because you follow a young woman who escapes the hustle and bustle of the city life that she's been living, and she goes back to her hometown in the countryside. And the Japanese summer autumn version movie also seems perfect to watch this time of year, so I am so excited. I feel like those two movies are going to be right up my street. Of course, there's also movies like Tuck Everlasting, which is so scenic and atmospheric and picturesque and so perfectly summer. This one is all about a girl called Winnie, and Winnie grows up in a very privileged rural town in 1914 America. But Winnie's a very curious soul and she wants to know what lies beyond her house, and so she goes on a bit of an adventure with a boy called Tuck, except Tuck's family are a family of immortals essentially. They have access to this magical source of water that gives them immortality. It's actually really quite a sad movie, but so gorgeous and so perfect for summer. And I know you can see right now on my list, I definitely will be adding more as the days go by, but some of these I've already watched and would like to rewatch. Some of these, like Binari, I have never watched before, so again, that's another one I really need to watch. But last but not least, let's talk about some of the different activities I want to be doing. Recently, I made my own strawberry syrup for some just drinks at home, and I've been loving it so much, so I really would like to make some more syrups. But I also really want to make faqs this year. There are different versions of this, but essentially you have watermelon and some fizzy drinks like Milkis, other fruit and like little jellies, and it's just supposed to be summer perfection. So that's definitely a dessert or like a Korean punch drink that I want to make. week. I also have been meaning to visit a strawberry farm for so long, and we have a farm nearby that's not too far from us, maybe a 20-minute drive. They do the best like strawberry pick your own kind of thing. This year hopefully will be the year I can go pick my own strawberries and then turn them into more strawberry syrup. And another activity that I hope I get to do this year is read by a lake. Read by a lake, but also munch away on some homemade kimbap. I would love to roll some kimbap and then take it with Ian to a lake. I have this vision in my mind, but we'll be at this lakeside having our picnic, reading my book and dipping my toes in some cool water. That sounds so dreamy. So that's definitely also on my summer bucket list. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this video gave you some inspo for some of the books and shows you could be watching, reading, and I'll see you all very soon in the next cozy video. Bye friends!